Warning, the following video will contain spoilers from Superman number 38, Batman number 38, Deathstroke number 1, as well as ongoing things in the comics Earth 2, World's End, and other various things going on in DC Comics. Probably a couple things in Marvel too, just for reference. So spoiler alert. If you do not want any of these things spoiled or ruined for you, please stop watching now. Okay, you're still here? Hey guys, Dave here. Sorry it's been a while since I've made a video. Had some real world issues I had to deal with, but I digress. I'm back now, and it's time to make some catch-up videos here. Oh, one of the big things that actually happened this week happened in DC Comics. Last week we had some big news, which I'll get to in a bit, but the biggest piece has to come right now from Superman number 38. See, recently Superman's been fighting a bad guy named Ulysses. He actually had some energy absorption powers. He could actually crank his strength up to Superman levels and as well as do other things. Superman was fighting him and started blasting with heat vision, which he was just getting stronger from. Eventually, something weird happened. Superman's body began to glow, this bright yellow light, and next thing you know, a huge amount of energy erupted from him. And when he wakes up, he's in the Batcave. Batman found him. Well, apparently, although this ability was being teased for a bit, we finally got the lowdown. See, Superman's had some new powers developed way back in his days that we've stuck with. Super speed, flight, X-ray vision, super breath, things like that. Now, in the Silver Age of comics, the late 50s to mid-80s, that was the Silver Age of comics where he was developing all kind of new powers, but that fortunately never really stuck. That was, some of them just got really goofy and weird things, so thankfully it's no longer a part of it. So, in this case, Batman found him in a crater of, I believe, a quarter-mile in diameter, or a radius, I'm not sure. Actually, if it was a radius, it'd be, a half-mile diameter total. Anyway, huge explosive blast of yellow energy that, I don't know, it seemed kind of like Vegeta's final flash in DBZ. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Superman beat Goku in Death Battle, so I don't know, but I digress. Anyway, it turns out that his heat vision is actually tied to this ability, which his heat vision, of course, spends his solar charge of the yellow sun, faster than anything else. But now, it looks like that's a precursor to this super flare power. Yes, they're calling it super flare. They're saying it's the most destructive power that he has in his arsenal, but it also has a serious downside. Apparently, when he uses it, it completely spends every bit of solar energy in his body. So, for the next 24 hours, until he starts to get sunlight and gets back, he's completely powerless now. He's a normal human being. So it's kind of weird, but, they've done other weird little stuff like this in the past before. Hell, there used to be a power Superman had where he could make a super small duplicate of himself that would be able to go and do things that he couldn't. Of course, whenever the thing launched off and do something, whatever powers it was using, he couldn't. So that was weird. But also, DC has done other stuff like this. In the Silver Age with the Martian Manhunter, John Jones, there was a storyline where every now and then a comet would come between Earth and Mars, and every time it would come within the area, John would temporarily lose his powers for 24 hours and just be a normal human. So, Supes has the most destructive power he's ever had now, and when he uses it, it's a one-shot, and he's temporarily weakened. Even Captain Atom has had some weird things like that happen, that if he tries to absorb too much energy, he actually would time jump, but for a short time, I think for a few hours or something, he would not be able to do anything. So no super strength, no flight, no energy blast. Kind of sucks, but they've toyed around with things like this before in DC. So, this looks like the new attempt to do so, but they're saying that unlike the little abilities that they played with in the Silver Age, this is going to be part of Superman's arsenal from now on. And that's not the only shocker that's been happening with DC as of late. Last week we found out that in part of a storyline that's been crossing over with Superman and Batman called Endgame, Batman's been discovering that it looks like, surprise, his greatest foe, the Joker, may actually be immortal. He's actually existed well before Batman ever came on the scene. There's actually trace elements in his body that seems to indicate things from both Vandal Savage as well as Ra's al Ghul, or the Lazarus Pits. So, the Joker, every time he'd ever been in these situations where he looked like for sure he'd die or whatever, but they never found a body and he'd come back a few months later, it looks like he's actually immortal, regenerates, and then comes back. So that's going to change things up. Of course, other change-ups that have been happening seriously as of late. In the new book, Deathstroke, at the end of it, Slade, it looks like he's become, completely attacked, beat down. He went to some Asian mystic healer, and he wakes up. We've got a guy that looks like in his early 20s. Both eyes are healed and working, and he's screaming, "What did you do to me?" So Deathstroke, the badass old man of DC, the deadliest man on Earth, has now lost his silver hair. He's become young again, as well as becoming broke, apparently. And he's got a fresh start. Okay, not sure how to feel about this. Apparently they tried a similar story like this back in the 90s with him, but that didn't stay for long, and he eventually got back to being the old badass guy that we know. So, I don't know what's going on there. Right now, DC's actually announced that with their big storyline coming up called Convergence, after that, the status quo is going to be where they're focusing on telling the best and most exciting, compelling stories that they can, and focusing a little less on the status quo, or rather, the continuity, I should say. They're trying to shake things up. And this can be good or bad. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of things that they've tried before. It hadn't really, been met with a lot of popularity. For example, when they said that the big biker, Lobo that we've known for a couple decades now isn't the real one, and that this younger, sleeker, almost Twilight version of Lobo pops up saying he's the real one. A lot of people got pissed off about that, and they don't know what to make of it. They don't like it. Well, here's some kickers. In Earth 2 World's End, right now all hell is breaking loose on Earth 2. It looks like 4 Furies, female Furies of Apocalypse have come, and they're essentially like the equivalent of the 4 Horsemen, only they're women, or in some cases girls, and each have incredible powers that go well beyond their normal race's capabilities. Here's the fun part. In a flashback, it turns out the female Pestilence actually was from Zarnia, Lobo's planet. Now, in our standard reality that we would know of as the baseline, or Earth 1 or Earth 0, basically, Lobo blew up that planet, so he's the last Zarnian. In this world, it does still exist. In Earth 2, there was still people from Zarnia. In fact, it looked like we saw the younger, sleeker Lobo there. So it's quite possible that this new Lobo may actually have come from Earth 2, but hopped to another reality and doesn't even know it. That's not the only thing. Earth 2 has been shaking up the status quo for a lot. I know, a lot of people that are hardcore into the JSA and stuff like that, they may not like the changes that have gone on. Al Pratt, the Atom, essentially a 5-foot nothing, drill sergeant who was ground zero of a nuclear blast, and now he has growing powers like the character Atom Smasher, as well as energy fists and things like that. But unfortunately, he lost his arm in a battle, and eventually lost his life trying to give people a fighting chance to survive. A lot of things have changed in there. Jay Garrick, what we know as the original Golden Age Flash, has been reborn in here. He's no longer with his girlfriend Joan, and instead of being given his powers in a lab accident, the dying god Mercury transferred his powers and speed to Jay. So he's god-powered now. Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Golden Age Green Lantern, they've changed a few things around. One of the big things that surprised the hell out of some fans was the fact that they made him gay. And that actually he was going to, propose to his fiancée, and, well, there was a train explosion and his fiancée died. So, instead of being given his power by a magical lantern, the elemental forces in that universe are more mystical. So he was actually given his power by the green, the same kind of thing that the Swamp Thing taps into in our standard universe. He's been given that power, so he's essentially like their version of like the green-powered Superman. His power comes directly from Earth. He's super strong, fast. Yes, he can blast things and make some constructs, but he's not as adept as he used to be. So he's like their version of a Green Lantern and Superman. It's actually similar to Just Imagine Stan Lee's Superman, powered by the World Tree. So there's some similarities there. There's some big change-ups and things there. I mean, Earth 2, the entire thing is based on Apocalypse invading, and Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, I believe also Catwoman had given their lives to stop the invasion. It looks like in that world, Wonder Woman was actually the first hero to come out because they refer to all costumed, super-powered fighters as Wonders. And all hell is breaking loose right now. Steppenwolf, the general of Apocalypse, had several people working with him, and he made a big old speech and stuff. Next thing you know, he was blasted, cut down by his lieutenant named Brutal. He removes his armor. It's Superman, who we thought had died. Only he's blasting him and he's yelling, "Hail, Darkseid!" He starts beating the hell out of it. He killed Alan Scott, who fortunately the Earth wasn't done with him, so he repaired him. He went nuts. It turned out it was actually Brutal, was actually a clone, and eventually became a Bizarro. In fact, also on Earth 2, we've got Val Zod. Yes, you heard me. He's a new Superman. A black Superman, who apparently was also adopted by the L family. But not only is he dark-skinned, but he's also a bit agoraphobic because he was stuck in a pod for 16 years, so that was all he ever knew. And he's a pacifist. He doesn't like to fight. He doesn't like to throw punches. But he'll stand there and block and try to hold the bad guys without becoming overly violent. So yeah, some serious changes are going on there. DC wants to change up the status quo, and they're trying to make things different. My best friend Neil, a.k.a. the Dude in the Hat, look him up online, had said this and summed it up probably the best way. Comic book fans love to have their favorite characters go through new, exciting adventures, but they hate for anything to change. DC is changing things up. Now, agree with Earth 2 or don't, but they have been taking huge strides and taking big chances. It's actually been one of the most compelling books that they've had in there. And it looks like DC's going to try to follow suit, and everything's going to change up. As a fan, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be okay. We've gone through changes before. We're going to get through this. And it's going to be different. Some things are going to be good. Some things are going to be bad. But this is the time we're in. Joker's immortal, Deathstroke's young, and Superman has a new power that not only destroys everything, but takes away his powers for a day. What do you think? Please like, subscribe, comment, share this around to your friends. Also take a look at some of my other videos in the past. I think the Flash Fact Funk video might give you some giggles. Alright guys, just thought I'd throw that out to you. I'm Dave. Please keep in touch. Take care. Peace.